The stats are most people pay more taxes than they should. If you are paying too much in tax, don't you want to know it?
How often do you meet with your CPA to discuss tax law changes or strategy?
Do you have a strategy and is it working? Or do you not have a strategy and need one?
People who are ongoing thinking about taxes have a much better outcome in ROI.
You don't own your results. You're not in control. You're just being a leaf blown in the wind. Welcome to this episode of the Hidden Money Podcast. Kevin and I are actually more excited than usual, which is hard to be, to explain a new tool that we're offering you. This is a new year, in case you haven't noticed, and this episode's title is It's a New Year, Make It a New You. Seriously, with tax, it's important. This is a new year. You can't change your tax facts from last year. It's baked. But you've got this year ahead of you. And people all the time, when we speak to new people or new prospective clients, are like, I don't know how to tax strategize. I don't know if I'm paying too much tax. And it takes a long process for them to consult with us or them to consult with someone else to find out. Our team has created a really cool scorecard online at revotaxpayer.com to go score your tax position and start coming up with some plans for free, completely scalable. Go there and find out how do you generate a new you in your tax world.
And all this is doing, this tool that we've developed is, and Mike and I, we developed this for you guys, because a lot of people who come to us they're like, I don't know if I'm doing the right things or not. Well, we'll show you. We're going to ask you maybe 20 questions, multiple choice, open book, no pressure, but 20 questions that you can go through. And we're just going to get some intake from you. Do you prepare your own tax return, or do you have a CPA prepare it? What do you think a refund means? Do you feel like a refund, and when you get a tax refund, is that the government paying you that you didn't owe any tax that year? Maybe you don't know what that means. Maybe you know that it's an overpayment of tax. How you answer those questions are going to kind of gauge your overall tax literacy and tax knowledge. And we're going to give you a score. We're going to say, hey, you're pretty healthy. You know, hey, one of the questions on there is going to be, have you been audited in the past 2 years, and what was the result of it?
Yeah.
Did you get raked over the coals with the IRS? Then that's going to hurt your tax score, because you shouldn't be. You should be doing everything in accordance to the guidelines, but also making sure that you're doing everything safely and aggressively at the same time. So this tool is just for your benefit. That is absolutely free, and that's why we want to bring it out to you today. Is just go see how you are, because you may not know.
I am excited about this for so many reasons. One of them is, one of the reasons we created Hidden Money is we know more often than not, the majority of taxpayers out there are paying more taxes than they should and than they have to. People work hard for their money, but most people out there don't realize it. Or if they realize it, it seems like such a difficult, weird area that they don't have the knowledge or expertise for, and they don't have the right kind of person to talk to find out. So they just go with the flow, and they don't change their facts, and they never change their tax. Here is a great opportunity for you to go spend, 10 minutes at most?
Not even that.
Not even that. Online, answer some questions, find out where your hidden money opportunities are if you have them. I suspect, I know the stats are most people pay more taxes than they should. You're going to find that out. But you might be one of the few that, hey, you're perfect. You're not overpaying the government. You're doing great. There's going to be some of those, but there's always an opportunity to improve your tax situation. So please check it out. And Kevin's going to kind of walk through some of these questions and why they're important. And this is important. It is a new year. Change your tax world. Make this a new you and make this the best tax year ever, or at least change your understanding and comprehension. If you are paying too much in tax, don't you want to know it? Here's an opportunity to find out. Could you use an extra $1,000 in your pocket? How about an extra $5,000, $20,000, $100,000? Well, there's a good chance you are overpaying your taxes, and you could have that money in your pocket versus sending it to the Treasury Department where it's getting, quite honestly, flushed down the toilet. How do you know that? I mean, sure, it sounds like a gimmick, right? That's why we have created a new tool, a tax assessment tool, to check out your tax health. It's your baseline. See, are you most likely overpaying your taxes or not? And where might you be overpaying? Where might you be missing opportunities? Go to revotaxpayer.com, take the health assessment, and see your score for yourself. You don't have to talk to us. Just see where you stand, and are you overpaying too much taxes? If you couldn't use some extra money in your pocket, go ahead and ignore this. Don't go there. Keep overpaying your taxes. revotaxpayer.com.
Yeah, and most people, you really fall into two classifications, and that's what the quiz first starts off with.
Yep.
Is, are you a business owner or are you a W-2? If you're a business owner, you're going to be asked specific questions related to being a business owner. You know, are you reviewing your structure regularly? Do you have a proactive CPA working with you on tax advantage deductions? It's going to be asking you some business owner questions that if you're a W-2 employee, those aren't irrelevant. Or you could be both, and it could ask you maybe your spouse is a W-2 and you're a business owner. So it allows for the flexibility of both. But if you're a W-2 earner, it might ask you a question, hey, how often do you meet with a CPA? I mean, that's a very good start to how healthy you are, is because we as professionals, we understand the tax code. We understand how to maneuver it. We don't expect you to. Now, we want to educate you and empower you and help you ask the right questions. But at the end of the day, you need to rely on a CPA or some sort of tax strategist out there to help you navigate the 900,000 pages of our Internal Revenue Code. And that's what that one question will tell a lot. If you never meet with a CPA and you're a W-2 owner, I can guarantee you're overpaying your tax. Almost 100% guarantee.
I recently met with this prospective client who he's learned how to use AI pretty well. He uses ChatGPT, Grok. He's got paid accounts, and he created a tax plan on his own. And he brought it to a CPA, and CPA said, "This is hogwash. I don't know what any of this is." So they came to us, and he came up with this elaborate tax plan. And we spent a good 30 minutes reviewing it, and it was all hogwash. If he would have done any of that, he'd have either been going to prison or he'd have been paying a ton of penalties, and he would have doubled his taxes instead of saving any taxes. This is not AI generated. This is tax strategist, expert generated. It's not going to give you all your answers, but it's going to point out areas of opportunity in your world based on your streams of income, based on who you are, where you can go. One of my favorite questions that's going to be on there is, if you're a W-2 taxpayer, did you know that there's opportunities to reduce your taxes? Because how often do we hear W-2 taxpayers say, been told if all I can do is maximize my 401k? And my IRA, right? Mm-hmm. No, there's so many more things you can do. And it's going to diagnose it and offer you a free score. You don't ever have to talk to us. Mm-hmm. Get it out there. Take it to your CPA. But when your CPA says, this is hogwash, it's not, then you call us. Go back to the same website, revotaxpayer.com, and schedule a consult with one of our specialists.
Yeah, because we can help you out. Because I would say the majority of our consultations that we see people coming in, we can save them in a 15, 30-minute call. We have strategies already laid out in our heads, because we do this every day. We do this in and out, over and over and over. We're on the phone, we're on Zooms, we're doing all this all the time. We can diagnose and solve these problems. We've solved them 1,000 times over in your situation, more than likely. And we can present to you strategies and options that fit your lifestyle, your cash flow, and your risk assessment.
And what I'm excited about is, there's only so many people that you and I and the other consulting managers at our firm can meet with in a year. And we have a lot of people try to schedule with us, and they see we're like 3 weeks out. And I mean, this December, we worked our tail off. And, you can still see the tiredness.
I'm still exhausted.
This is scalable. You don't have to meet with us. You can go find out where are the holes, or are there holes in your tax world? Are there opportunities for you to develop a tax strategy? Where are they? And then run with that. At least change your knowledge gap. Know what you don't know now. Are you paying too much in taxes? And what areas could you utilize to lower your tax bill and grow your financial freedom?
How often do you meet with your CPA to discuss tax law changes or strategy? Never. Once a year, twice a year, quarterly, or we have ongoing communication.
Guess what? Tax law changes all the time, even when you don't have a new tax law. I mean, we had a big new tax law last July 4th. But every time a new tax court case precedent comes out, tax law has changed. There's things you can do now that you couldn't do, or there's things you used to be able to do and now you can't. That happens weekly.
Yeah. Do you have a written or structured tax strategy plan for the year? And that's just a yes or no question. Do you have a written plan? Because if you have a plan, it's all well and good if it's just verbalized, but do you have a written plan that you are executing and working throughout the year? That will assess a lot there. When do you start typically thinking about taxes? During filing season?
Yes.
Year round, quarterly, mid-year, end of year? Those are all different. And when we came up with this, my people who are ongoing thinking about taxes have a much better outcome in ROI.
I mean, it's just like with anything. If you are not proactively working an issue or working a problem, you're not on top of it. You don't own your results. You're not in control. You're just being a leaf blown in the wind. You don't have to be that way. You can take control.
All right, the work is done. We've done the planning, we've done the compliance, but one thing still remains out there that we can't control as much as we want to control, and that's the federal government. If we could figure out how to control the IRS, our jobs would be a lot easier, but we can't. So in the event that you're selected for audit, that comes with some stress and it comes with some cost. Given the strategies and the complexities of your tax return, more than likely you do not want to defend this by yourself. So you want to hire a professional, hopefully us, the professionals that prepared your return, to defend what we prepared. So in the event that you are selected for audit, the fees can range drastically on an hourly basis from $3,000 to $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. So it just depends on the scope of the audit, how far they want to look and how deep and how hard they want to make this, which we have zero control of. One way to hedge your risk against this is to purchase this audit defense plan. This audit defense plan is going to be a one flat fee quote for federal, and we're going to give you one for state if you're in a taxable income state. Then if you pay that premium, no matter if you're pulled for audit, you are going to be covered from our team to defend this audit at no additional cost above that premium. So you would pay the premium up front and you are locked in for 3 years. If in the event that you're audited, we are going to defend and fight tooth and nail to defend the positions that we took on your tax return at that set premium cost. So you have to weigh the risks. Is it worth it? The likelihood of getting audited has historically been low, but they're going to be on the rise. They are going to be going up. And the more aggressive positions and tax planning you do, the more eyes that are on you. And I don't want to fearmonger, it's just the truth. And so just protect yourself. This is a great plan, and we look forward to serving you in the event of an audit. I mean, how well do you understand the One Big Beautiful Bill Act and how it affects your tax situation? That's a huge one. Because going back, you said tax law just changed this July. One of the big things that came out of this big, beautiful bill that hits everybody is the salt cap.
A lot of big things in there. Okay. But that is
the salt cap is one. So the salt cap is your state, area, local tax. There was a $10,000 cap on all your property taxes and sales tax and state income tax that you could deduct. It was $10K. Whether your property tax was $15, $20, it doesn't matter. You're deducting $10 on your federal return.
Or if you had paid state income tax, like we had California residents paying $20,000 a year in property tax and $40,000 a year in income tax, but they only got to deduct
$10,000. So that cap now is $40,000, but only for a certain threshold, like $450,000 of income. If you get under $450,000, you can deduct all $40,000. But let's say you're in Texas, we're a no income tax state. Maybe you pay $10K of property tax a year. You can still take general sales tax. Mm-hmm. So what general sales tax is the IRS has these tax tables that they've developed saying in your area, in your geographical area, in your income range, generally you should be paying this much in sales tax. And they're going to add that to your property tax and you get to deduct it. Well, now that cap is 40. So if you're paying 10 to 15 grand in property tax, instead of taking the general sales tax table, which we've been doing because this hasn't been worth the exercise, let's actually tab up how much sales tax you paid to Texas.
Yeah.
That is your clothing, your food. I like to start at big purchases.
Did you buy a vehicle?
Cars,
yes.
Boats, electronics. You just start with those big purchases. How much in sales tax did you pay? Pull up your wife's Amazon account. My goodness. Just start tabbing up how much sales tax you pay.
Or my Amazon account. My wife gets on to me all the time.
Yeah, your house
sales
is different than mine.
My Amazon account, yes.
And so if you start tabbing up all your sales tax, we can add that to your property tax. That is 100% result because of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that increased that for everybody. under that income
And
threshold.
Kevin mentioned that's one big area, but that is actually really tiny subsection in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. There are so many areas. So if you're not aware of what can change that, of what changed in the tax law, what new opportunities exist, you need to be aware of them. So find out.
Yeah. Another question but let's say you have a CPA. Before that CPA files your tax return, how much of an understanding do you have of what's being filed? Do you understand what we're doing? Do you understand the strategies being implemented? Or are you just blindly trusting your tax preparer that you're using? You need to understand what's going on in your world. Now, not to the level of detail in tax code, but I'm saying from a general high level, you need to understand what's going on.
Amen to that. Just like now, unfortunately, you have to understand and be the driver in your own healthcare. Used to be we'd have a general practitioner, a primary care physician. They knew everything about us. But since private equity has taken over the healthcare market, doctors are overworked. They don't have time to know all your details. So you've got to be the coordinator with all of your issues. You got to be that way in tax too, or at least know enough to know if you're getting served well before you pay the fee to whoever's doing your taxes.
And then if you own real estate, you could say, hey, I own real estate, and I'm going to ask you 5 to 6 questions in real estate. One being, how familiar are you with just bonus depreciation and how real estate taxation works in general? How comfortable are you understanding how depreciation and overall taxation works? Are you familiar with cost segregation when it comes to real estate tax planning? Do you own any of your rental properties personally, or are they in an LLC?
Yeah.
I mean, these are just very yes/no questions, or maybe multiple choice of 1 through 5. And these are all going to be scored. And at the end, once we understand your full financial picture of kind of when you go through this assessment, we'll say, hey, you're an A, you're a B, you're a C, you're a D, you're failing. If you're failing, you need to speak to us, or you need to
someone.
Yeah, you need to there's major gaps, and we've talked about major gaps in tax deductions in a previous episode of how many. Just the one EITC that was mind-boggling to us is that 500,000 taxpayers missed the EITC, which resulted over $1 billion of tax credits off that one credit. 500,000 people missed that. Don't be one of those statistics.
Yes.
Be on the other end of this spectrum, and this is just going to be a tool that helps you get there.
But let's be honest, Kevin, most people don't geek out like we do on these tax details and all this stuff these questions you listed. And that's one of the main points of this new tool.
Yeah.
You don't have to understand all these details. You just need to know, do you have a strategy and is it working? Or do you not have a strategy and need one? And this simplifies it. It brings it down to a language that you can understand and gives you a simple score and simplifies it for you and gets you started so you can be a new you in this new year. Please go check it out at revotaxpayer.com. And like and subscribe our podcast. We're going to be throwing out a lot of these cool things later throughout the season. Have your CPA join. Have your spouse join. Have your friends join. I promise you there's a more likely chance than not that you're paying more taxes than you're legally obligated to pay. Don't you want to keep some of that hard-earned money?